Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our new edition of the Hindu Made Easy. In today's edition, what we find that the Hindu's front page, Sri Lankan President's India visit, Ranil Wickremesinghe's India visit, and Prime Minister Modi and Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe, after having their at Hyderabad house, that you know, the official banquet hall of the Government of India, they issued the press releases, and thereby Prime Minister hoped that Sri Lanka will. Headline is that Modi raises aspirations of Tamils with Ranil. Raises aspirations of Tamil. It's a 200 years Sri Lankan Tamils. 200 years of their arrival in Sri Lanka this year is being celebrated, and 13 regarding the implementation of 13th Amendment of Sri Lankan Constitution and election of the provincial body, local body elections. These two things are the in Tamil areas, especially Jaffna Peninsula, and so the Prime Minister has hoped for this, and Sri Lankan President thanked India for its support in profound appreciation for the support that India has extended to Sri Lanka over the economic downturn that had played havoc with Sri Lankan economy and household consumption and things like that. We are knowing very well the forex crisis and other issues related with running of the president from the palace. Another story about this: Rahul Gandhi was seeking a stay for his conviction in criminal defamation by a Sessions Court of Gujarat, whereby A.M. Singhvi, appearing for Rahul Gandhi, asked for an interim suspension of the conviction on the charges of criminal defamation. The bench led by B.R. Gavai said that we cannot give this without listening to other parties. So the complainant has been, and Gujarat government has been asked to give their facts regarding this one. So we'll watch out on this development. Later, another news is regarding Bombay High Court. From front page itself, there is a news from Bombay High Court. It's regarding recently amended IT rules that mandates that IT departments should create or notify a fact-checking unit known as, that's a fact-check unit. Under the recently amended IT rules, IT Ministry will notify a fact-check unit that will decide that whether the news is fake or something like that.
Powering on.
Fake or something like that, and in that case, it has to be taken out from the channels and all. So Kunal Kamra, you know, satirist, along with Editors Guild of India and the Association of Newspapers, Magazines and Regional Channels, have gone to the High Court, Bombay High Court, where appearing for the Maharashtra government, our Solicitor General Tushar Mehta asked for time, citing the reason that Constitution bench is there and it's on 2nd of August and we have to prepare for that. So he has asked for extra timing regarding the issue of notification of the fact-check unit under the recently amended IT rules. So these are the major front page news. One news is that Assam Rifles has filed a sedition and defamation, criminal defamation case against Methi organization, civil activist coordination committee organizations and all. Now, in today's editorial, what we find that first one is 2 articles, and out of the 4 articles in today's editorial, what we find that 2 articles are related to Manipur. The first one is the Hindu's own official editorial version that we call, and what that heading is the belated outrage. Steps to address Manipur issue must begin with change of leadership. So the Hindu demands that the situation is such that, and the cookie tribes people think that the chief minister is the problem. So according to Hindu, that it should begin with the removal of his, somebody else should take over the CM's post in Manipur, and in no stone unturned, you could say. In such a manner, it critiques the Prime Minister's silence, conspicuous silence, and for such a long day, 78 days. Virtually, you know it very well, the story so far. In the very first week of May this year, in Manipur, riots started between the Meiteis and Kuki communities relating a Manipur High Court order whereby it has given that Meiteis should be given the ST status, and that was led to large scale violence and things like that. And recently what happened, that a video went viral regarding the molestation of Kuki women, and Supreme Court of India took suo motu cognizance of, saying that state and the center, we are giving little time to act, or we will do the needful. Then the Prime Minister came out and in unequivocal terms condemned and promised that guilty will be brought to book, and consequently people have been arrested of that incident related to that. So this article says, the editorial says regarding this, that first thing is that Prime Minister should not be that much who is all the time live and things like that, why he is not going into details. Home Minister visited in mail, he had visited Manipur state, but after that nothing like that on the ground reality, nothing changed. And it concludes by saying that the Chief Minister Biren Singh had said that hundreds of such incidents have occurred in the state, and he had cited that one of the reasons for internet shutdown in the state. So another article that will deal with is regarding the internet shutdown, complete shutdown of internet. You know that for so many days, in May itself it was, so complete shutdown of internet. Now that is the second article we will deal, then we go for again for that one. So this internet shutdown article is written by Apar Gupta. Apar Gupta is the founder director of the Internet Freedom Foundation and a party, Freedom Foundation, and a party to the petition that has filed in Supreme Court regarding the whole process of this article deals in that this the central government or state government takes into consideration in a case of a strife or riot situation, complete shutdown of the internet. That leads to lots of inconvenience to other people. Now this article deals with that Supreme Court had a very good opportunity to adjudicate on the matter of internet shutdown matter, but what happened in the case of this a very famous case, which was Anuradha Bhasin versus Union of India. Anuradha Bhasin, the editor of a very famous Kashmiri dailies, and being an editor, and internet shutdown affected everything and all. So versus Union of India, there was a Supreme Court case in which Supreme Court, according to article, it says that juridical avoidance, it led to Supreme Court, the response of the Supreme Court has been one of juridical avoidance. It wants to say that in Anuradha Bhasin versus Union of India, the Supreme Court failed to adjudicate on even one internet shutdown order, how it is being done and all, and what happened in that case also, that Union, it is in a vague manner, it says that it should be observed and taken into consideration by the state government concerned. The writer wants to say that now the demand is there for partial ban of internet, that okay, fine, you ban the messaging apps, social media, and let other things like health related issues or UPIs and other things that we are dependent on the internet should be allowed. Or so this article says the partial shutdown of the internet is one of the things that the state itself has applied for in the case of Manipur. So after Jammu and Kashmir, it's another long-term shutdown of internet in Manipur on the charges of, on the grounds that it leads to violence and things like that. Whereas the author has presented a case that this famous incident that went viral video and all, it has quoted NewsClick, reputed website, that ground reporting is that it was a fake video that was the excuse to perpetuate this heinous crime. So the state has no such data to showcase that internet has led to this sort of things like that. The writer wants to say that more so misguided elements take advantage of internet shutdown by making rumors because one could not verify and reliable sources are blanked out. So this whole article is that an internet ban will not restore peace in Manipur. The headline is that an internet ban will not restore peace in Manipur. Other measures should be taken. And regarding that, the author says that in the case of Anuradha Bhasin versus Union of India, Supreme Court had a good opportunity to adjudicate the case, and clear direction to the state should have been given, but things were lost, and now the courts are having, they need now accountability of can only come when the courts improve on the precedent of. It says that accountability can only come when the courts improve on the precedent of Anuradha Bhasin case and demand it from the state and central executive. So the question that needs to be asked again is, what was the propriety of what was the propriety of what was the propriety of the internet shutdown and role in our national apathy. National apathy, sympathy, empathy, EMPATHY, empathy. So it's a national apathy, means suffering. People of Manipur are suffering for such a long time, and there is no such national hue and cry and some solutions or things like that. It's just like festering wound. That's why it calls that we will never have these answers till we hear the voices of Manipur. That was going to. So you understood that the first one is that the editorial was that Prime Minister has broken his silence, and he should have done it earlier, condemned in unequivocal terms. When it came into the cognizance of the Supreme Court, then only Prime Minister came out and condemned, and the action happened, although the FIR had been filed. So after the incident itself, few days after the incident. Now the second editorial is the right approach regarding the Tista Setalwad issue, that Supreme Court's giving regular bail to Tista Setalwad was a right approach. Okay, so it says the Hindu editorial has defended the Supreme Court's. First, it was given interim bail when Gujarat High Court denied Tista Setalwad bail and told her to surrender. That time Supreme Court gave her interim bail. That one it gave regular bail. Now the charges that are on her, it came after Zakia Jafri case was finishing of that one, and Supreme Court made a statement, and based on that, within 24 hours, Tista Setalwad, R.V. Shri Kumar, Sanjeev Bhatt was already in jail. So Tista Setalwad and R.V. Shri Kumar were arrested within 24 hours on the charges of fabricating documents and witnesses to malign innocent politician of the state. The thing is that trial has this month itself it will start, and so it will be decided. What will be decided? That is the The trial in this case is set to begin soon in Sessions Court in Ahmedabad. Regarding, I am talking about Tista Sadalbag's, that for the reasons that she got a regular bail from Supreme Court. Now the charges that has been there is being started. The trial in this case is set to begin soon in Session Court in Ahmedabad. One hopes it will settle the question whether activists assisting victims out to have been proceeded against on the charges of trying to implicate innocent political leaders. So it will be decided and see the outcome of that. The case of, what is the crux of the thing is that the case of forgery and fabrication of evidence, was registered shortly after the Supreme Court while rejecting a right victim's plea. This right victim's plea, I hopefully it's Zakia Jafri, whose husband Ehsan Jafri, ex-member of parliament from Gujarat, was burnt, he was killed in the riot by mobs. She had followed the case to the Supreme Court, had observed that those who had sought to malign the state government and its functionaries should be put in the dock. Okay, that was the observation of the Supreme Court, and that after that Ms. Adalwad had been arrested within a day, and the court had questions about what investigation it had conducted within such a short time to justify her arrest. That within a day, how could they file an FIR, arrest her and justify whole things, while the documents that they are talking about are the part of court documents. So next one article is one important article, you could say, in editorial section that will go in great detail, is regarding publisher platform imbalance need fixing. Publisher platform need imbalance. First you need to understand who is publisher and what is the platform. Publisher means news media, or whether it's a print media or broadcast channels or dedicated YouTube channels or whatever the media, you could say that multi-form they have. So this news media, one term we use for those who generate news from the ground through research, through reportage and other things like that. Now, and who are the platform? Platform means like these tech giant, big tech giants like Google, Microsoft, Meta, that owns Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Threads. So it says that Google, Meta, these sort of platforms are especially against Google, being a largest search engine, biggest search engine, it has monopoly virtually over search engine. So this article says that the publishers are being cheated by, basically the word is not used cheated, but short shrift, you could say, they always received that one, means they are not getting you could say equality of the things. So two factors, twin challenges are there. That the first one is that it is the first two challenges are there. The first one is the absence of fair valuation, means that regarding the revenue generation that occurs on the sites that you visit, the aid generated on that is not being fairly evaluated. It's a one-way monopolistic evaluation by the platforms, means Google, Meta, they are not on, they evaluate. Okay, and the second is that so according to them, whatever they wish, they give to the publisher, that is news media. Now another one is that enumerative accountability. Enumerative accountability, that is that enumerative accountability, that is the quality and why we discuss the Hindu. We know that is one of the most reliable source of news gathering. If you have a news in the Hindu, we can easily no need of doubt or something, we can share, we can refer to and something like that. So it says that they have their own set of rules to enumerate the quality and content of the news channels, news media, and thereby prioritizing in their way. So those it leads to what happened that now news media are in disadvantageous stage. They are unable to fund long-term research-oriented articles. So now what is the solution? So the problem is the publisher versus platform imbalance. There is no balance. What is no balance? Because the two things are twin imbalances are there. The first one is fair valuation. Okay, the first one is fair valuation, a sort of matter of compensation, that how much money these tech giants who provide the platform for news media to have their news, and so that a person could search from anywhere and can go to the, say, the Guardian's news site, or articles published in New York Times, Washington Post, or Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, or whatever you have the searches. So they should in turn get something, the revenue that is being generated by ads and all. So this one is that, and then how do they quality buys, how do they do the gradings, and who will come first in the search of a particular topic, and prioritizing of these things are totally in control of the platforms like Meta, Google, Microsoft. So this article says that first time Australia took this matter, okay, during the COVID, early COVID phase. Australia took a matter, and it was the news media and digital platform mandatory bargaining code 2021. What happened when Australia initiated this bill, that is the news media and digital platform mandatory bargaining code? What happened that Facebook blocked Australian news from its platform. So people had inconvenience when wildfires or pandemic was on, and they were not getting access to Australian news media. Finally, Australian government compromised on it, and whatever the Meta wanted was included in the bill that we are talking about. Okay, then what is the this thing? What is the in the parent case? They say California. You know it very well. It's a den of big tech. The writer says it's a den of big tech. What is there is a bill, but both bipartisan House has agreed upon for this, but it is not in operation. In case of Canada, they are coming out of that. In India, it says that India has sluggish response. Okay, India, unfortunately, India has been slow in thinking, talking and acting on mitigating these twin imbalances. Twin imbalances you understood. First is the fair evaluation of the aid revenue, and second is enumerative accountability. That is that appreciation or judging of quality and prioritization of the content in the search engine. So these imbalances, and it's a true fact that okay, that platforms provide the infrastructure and things like that to be for the news media to have a global access, for even a local news to have a global access. These platforms have this capabilities and softwares, algorithms that they make it possible to reach them. But in reality, they should also be compensated for their efforts, because it takes money. They spend a lot of money. They pay their journalists and cameramen and others, and it takes editors, sub-editors, and it takes money to prepare the news. So if they get the money in a certain balanced manner, then it works as a input for them for further going. Otherwise, what will happen if the things are like that? In India, the Standing Committee on Finance is thinking about anti-competitive practices by big tech companies. It is the topic, anti-competitive practices by big tech companies. One incident had happened in India that our antitrust law body, that is Competition Commission of India, has taken cognizance against Google and fined also certain amount for violating the rules and things like that. So But what is the problem is that Commission of India had initiated, okay, very much that investigate the matter in report to be submitted in 60 days. Okay, what was it? Uh, Commission of India had a committee investigate these things, but it yet not come out. So the Standing Committee on Finance could not understand that what are the concrete measures should be implemented in the things that related to. Then so it says, it conclude by saying, so you understood publisher platform imbalance need fixing. The government should come out with legislation, and Commission of India should also have a more we say proactive approach towards balancing these things. Otherwise it will endanger democratic. You know that news media press is considered fourth pillar of democracy, and if it is being hollowed by made virtually useless or defunct by these powerful monopolistic or duopolistic big tech companies, it will be long term harmful for democracy. So it says that matter where interest of national news outlets clearly overlap with public interest. At this moment, both these interests are in tension, okay, if not understood due to the conduct of global big tech. So in due course, we hope that in due course it will come out. Then we have one big article on Saturday, you know that ground zero reporting. It is regarding the Jamuna inundation of Delhi, parts of Delhi by flooding of Jamuna river. You know it very well. Yamuna is the it is the largest tributary of Ganga. It enters in Delhi through via Haryana, and crash crossing in Delhi, it moves out. So it says that what has happened, that Yamuna flood plains are being encroached. Other lands, you know that when a big river like Yamuna, Ganga moves, it carries a huge amount of silts. So Khadar and Bangar, you know it very well. So these Khadar areas are also being occupied by low income groups, and even on the river plain, the flood plains that should have been encroachment free and things like that has been, even government structures like Delhi Parliament, Delhi Assembly building is there, Akshardham temple is there, Commonwealth Village Games are there. These are being constructed by the DDA that comes under the control of central government, is responsible for taking care of encroachment and demolishing and things like that. But it is a nexus of politicians, bureaucrats and middlemen who maintain that prices are very much high, and somehow they create structures, and it is so. In 1978 last, this sort of flooding had happened of Delhi, and that time also a committee was formed to look into the matters and take things. Nothing happened. Then later on, National Green Tribunal set up committee that mandated that encroachment should be removed, properly marked the areas, the things that are lying in the floodplain should be removed. But still nothing sort of that happened. Then lastly, IIT Delhi also gave her recommendations to program to make things that was not implemented by the present day government. So number of issues is there. It's a good article. You must read it for complete understanding of the perennial issue of flooding of Indian cities, especially this case, our capital Delhi. Thank you very much for your patient hearing of the news. Thank you very much.